AFC West Roundtable, welcome back into another episode because the preseason is officially over, which means for the most part, we don't really have to talk about games that don't matter anymore because football is officially back. Today's episode is going to be a little bit more fun. Why? Because instead of talking about a game, we are going to be talking about what is going on within the world of roster cutdowns. Which of these guys are we going to be seeing every single week for the next few months? That's what we're going to be breaking down here today. At the end of the episode, we are going to be breaking down, each of these guys, rather, is going to be breaking down their thoughts on how the division is going to finish. Who's first? Who's fourth? Wait till later on in today's episode because that is what we are going to be breaking down. But before we get into that, let's go around the table. Let's see how these guys are feeling now that the preseason is over. Marcus, let's start with you. Fortunately, you guys don't win a game, right? It's just preseason. It doesn't matter. We saw the same thing last year, but still have to ask you, what are your thoughts on that? You know, not winning in a preseason game in two back-to-back years, you worried in the slightest?
No, I mean, honestly, with the way the ones looked, I mean, I don't know how everyone felt about their squads during this last preseason game, but, you know, our guys played extensively. You know, Mahomes and the ones came out and looked phenomenal, looked like midseason form. And also, too, let's throw congratulations to America's favorite couple. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. I think
I was waiting for it.
Let's give it to him.
He's gonna reverse the roles and get that bag when it hits the fan.
But yeah, I loved what I saw from Patrick Mahomes, and I think all throughout this since we've been doing the show with the last few weeks, my complaint has been about the left guard spot, Kingsley Suamataia, and he looked phenomenal in this past game. Looked great. Mahomes did all day back there, which is it's nice to see since the last time we saw him in a regular season game or in a game was the Super Bowl, and he had no time back there. So seeing the left side of the line looking phenomenal in this game against the Bears was nice to see. So yeah, I loved what I saw. I know we lost, but I loved what I saw from the guys in that last dress rehearsal.
Now, did you play any of your starters in that final preseason game? Because I know we're not really talking about that much here today, but just for context.
Yeah, Mahomes played the entire ones played. I think they played pretty much the entire first quarter. Actually, they played the entire first quarter and a little bit of the second quarter. And defensive line, we saw Chris Jones, Nick Bolton, a lot of the guys played in this game. At least the first quarter of a first quarter and a little bit of the second. So yeah, we saw the guys play extensively. So yeah, I think Andy wanted to get the guys warmed up for the game in Sao Paulo. Man, he wanted to see the guys get one big showing, and everyone looked great. So yeah, I can't complain about the way everything went last week.
It's always interesting to see what teams in that final preseason game decide to throw their starters out there and for how long versus what teams don't, because it's really a different philosophy with a bunch of different teams. Like I know for the Patriots, they have never, whether it was under the Belichick, Mayo, Vrabel, they never threw their starters out there. But then you have a team like the Chiefs who do so. You have a team like the Bengals who are also switching up that same philosophy, who they would never play their starters in that final preseason game, but now they are because historically they start off slow. So it's always interesting to see, you know, what teams do and what teams don't. But Andrew, let's go on over to you. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling about how the preseason went for the Chargers? Obviously, you guys had 4 preseason games instead of 3.
Yep. Yeah, see, week 1, I was feeling amazing, right? We donkey punched the Lions. It was pretty embarrassing for them. Week 2, I was feeling good. Week 3, I wasn't feeling great. Week 4, I'm like, wow, what kind of team is this? But I will say this. The week 4 game, guys, against the Niners, it was almost 20. There was 23 penalties in that game. It was the sloppiest game I've ever seen in my entire life. And again, it was the 3s and 4s. It was, you know, let's see if these guys can ball and find a spot somewhere else because the Chargers are going to be cutting a lot of players. But having said that, I really felt like we haven't really seen what our ones can do. Like to Marcus's point, I was beyond shocked at how long the ones were out there this last week. Couldn't even believe it. I think you guys were, midway through the second quarter, if I remember correctly, right? So, and you guys did look like you're in midseason form. We haven't seen hardly any of the ones out there at all during the preseason. So I'm just hoping that they are going to get their butts in gear for week 1 in Sao Paulo. I wish I was going to the game 100%. But, you know, I do fully expect the Chargers to be ready to go. Interesting note, dropped today. Najee Harris will be ready week 1, which I was a little bit surprised. He got a firework in the eyeball July 4th, right? So that's an interesting conversation. I think, you know, Najee Harris and Marion Hampton would look really good. So I'm excited to see what we could do. I mean, I can't really say that I've seen the ones in action at this point, but I think the backups look pretty good as well when I saw them out there. So I'm excited to see what we can do.
Now, Andrew, real quick, what are your expectations with that kind of 1-2 punch there at running back? Because like you alluded to, you really haven't gotten to see much of Najee Harris. Feel like he hasn't really ever lived up to the expectations since he's translated to the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So as the guy that's probably not going to be that lead back for you, what's the expectations for the role he's going to be in?
Yeah, I think it'll be a 1-2 punch, right? I think they're both very similar backs. Omarion obviously has a little more speed, a little more razzle dazzle, so on and so forth. But, I think Najee is just a guy that can get you 2, 3, 4 yards, right? I mean, if you could stay on schedule, which, they always say in the NFL, right? You want 3rd and short every time if you can possibly make that happen. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to pound the rock. We're going to tenderize the meat. That's what we want to do. Again, we did just sign another tackle just like an hour before I hopped on here from the Texans. Big dude. And, again, with Rashawn Slater going down, you needed to have another swing tackle and someone else that could step in as well. But, again, we are going to run the ball. And, again, I've said this before on the first podcast. We are the number 1 play action team in the NFL. If we can't get the running game going, we are not going to be effective offensively moving forward. So we need Najee. We need Omarion Hampton. I wouldn't even be surprised if we started 4 running backs week 1. It wouldn't even shock me. But that might be a little bit of a surprise to everybody, but it wouldn't surprise me because I know Jim Harbaugh wants to run the ball, and that's what Greg Roman's good at.
Now, Cam Robinson, we're hearing rumors that maybe he's on the trade block. Is that somebody that Chargers fans are looking for?
I think we're pretty happy with what we have right now. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Kamani Vidal should make this squad. He's going into his 2nd year. He's gotten bigger, stronger. And, Hassan Haskins is a really good special teams player. He's a very big guy, a lot like Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton. So I think that's why I'm saying there's an argument for 4 running backs because, Hassan Haskins is so good at special teams. So I don't know. I think anything can happen. I think that's probably why the actual 53-man roster hasn't been released right now because we're trying to go out and get more players. But I'm as a fan right now, I'm pretty happy with what we have in the running back room at this point, but you can always make it better.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Ryan, let's go down to you. How are you feeling about the Broncos after their preseason? And also want to ask you too, Ryan, Audric Estime ends up being released. Now, I didn't see it coming. Now, obviously, I don't follow the Broncos the way that you do. Was that a surprise to Broncos Nation or was that the expectation?
I know you got a few shows, so I'm not going to hold you to it. But I think I said last week that he was on the chopping block, most likely. But I felt good. It was kind of a different preseason game. I mean, we still won, and we whooped butt against the Saints. But I mean, they're terrible. They're going to be a bad team. They're going to be a bad team. But we didn't see any Jared Stidham, which was interesting. Sam Ehlinger played a lot of the game.
Owens guy,
and he played well. But yeah, I think it was kind of expected that Estime would be cut. All the other guys in the room just offered something else, more significant than what Estime offered as a runner. Also, fumbling issue, of course, and it's a good problem to have. So I'm not mad at it. Listen, every single player that was beloved by the fans, and he's only here for a season. But every single player that was beloved by the fans or running backs that have gotten released, they've usually been out the league within a year or two. That we've released. So I'm not like, oh, wish we would have kept him. I'm cool with Bidet, what's his name? J.K. Dobbins, and then the guy we just drafted as well. But I think overall preseason was good. What does kind of scare me is that we did go undefeated because we all know how that ends with some of these teams.
There you go.
Saw the Raiders do it.
So it does kind of scare me about that. But I think the biggest the biggest takeaway for Broncos fans from the final preseason game was our offense did go out there and score a touchdown finally. Sean kept them in there for most of the first quarter. But, I mean, we got to remember that these offenses, and this goes for the Chiefs as well, kind of touching on that, super vanilla. I don't know if anyone heard of what Ben Johnson said because some of the Lions players were talking, or former Lions wide receivers were talking about, it's funny because we saw him run those same plays. And Ben Johnson was like, yeah, I run the same preseason plays every single year. So some fans had a little bit of overreaction. I was included in that, but I was kind of bait posting and some people got pissed, but whatever, that's their fault. They have decisions.
Life of being a creator, Ryan. If you're not pissing someone off, you're not doing it right.
But whatever. We all kind of emotionally post during the game. But we did see some Cortland Sutton drops. First pass of the game. Piece of shit, man. Pisses me off.
Ryan, come
Our
on,
favorite
man.
player right
You
there,
preached
dog.
about this. You preached about it
Dude.
the last 2 weeks.
Dude.
Ryan, I know a good therapist.
First pass.
There
Oh,
we
let's
go.
get the chemistry going. You know,
There we go.
And it's what we need for the preseason. You know, getting that chemistry going, getting some flow. Cortland Sutton drop right there, and he had another drop as well. I can't do this. Evan Ingram dropped the ball, so I'm like, please don't give me that Cortland Sutton treatment. But he's gonna be fine because I don't think he'll do that often. But then Court, listen, this guy, he just gonna give me a heart attack. Drops, and then has like 3 nice snags and a touchdown. And I can't with this dude. I go on X, talk my shit. Next thing I know, he has a nice like back shoulder touchdown. I'm like, well, screw this, whatever, man. So that was kind of the day for me.
So what's your worry level with Cortland Sutton headed into the regular season with all these drops we've heard you talk about?
Listen, I'm not worried in the sense of when it's time to show up, he's going to show up. But it's just like I said, in the middle of the second quarter or in like the first drive of the game, when things, I wouldn't say that they don't matter, but when like, you know, you may not just be watching, you may be in the kitchen getting some food or something, he's going to drop a ball that could have gotten you like a first down. Instead, you guys have to punt. Like that's how it is with him. But ultimately, I think Pat Bryant is going to be his replacement. I think he was drafted to be his replacement. So count your days, Court. Count your days.
Count your days. You got that extension, but count your days. It means nothing in the NFL. Samoan, let's go on over to you, man. And look, I want to hear about how you're feeling about the Raiders, but I feel like we have to touch upon the storyline. Your wide receiver 1, Jacoby Myers, requests a trade, man. I mean, everybody is reported to have interest from the Packers to supposedly the Patriots.
I'll trade him.
Everybody has reported interest. This is a guy you cannot lose, Samoan. Let me know. Do you think he's really on the outside looking in? He obviously is coming off his best statistical season. He wants that contract extension. Does this happen?
Honestly, I don't think it. I think it's more of I think they're bluffing just to get more money, honestly, out of the Raiders, because the Raiders have already come out and said that they don't want to trade him away. But shoot, if any one of these teams want to give up a first round pick, then maybe we can start talking. You know what I mean? But outside of that, though, you know, I feel real good about you know, coming out of the last preseason game, going into the season. Just like Marcus, you know, we didn't win a game, but that means we're gonna probably do good during the season. So our starters look good. That was the main thing. We got to see Geno Smith finally connect with Dante Thornton for once, and we only see one drive out of him, and that's all that mattered. After that, it was basically a boring game. Since then, we got to see AOC go in there, get hurt, and I felt like he was a guy that was probably going to get cut anyways. But you know, then Cam Miller going in there didn't really do much, and with the rosters just coming, I mean the final 53 coming out, Cam Miller just got cut by the team. So I was like, damn, we just wasted a 6th round pick on him. But I know that they're going to try to bring him back. Outside of that, I know yesterday was a crazy day for us. It just seemed like we were doing, like, there was more news coming out. Jacoby Myers, of course, you talked about, and I'm on the notion of like pay the dude, extend him, because I think I don't look at him as like a wide receiver 1, but he's a really good, like, you know, 1B or 2 for any team out there. And I know there's a lot of teams that's interested in him right now, but I hope they get a deal done, unless he's asking for like Jamar Chase money, which I highly doubt. But it's crazy enough that happened, and then not too long after that, we bring Amari Cooper back, which of course I'm excited just for nostalgic purposes, of course. But you know, he even came out and said that he got unfinished business here, which is, you know, winning a Super Bowl. So I hope we get that done by this year. Next year, we'll see. And then we trade for Kenny Pickett, which I think was a good value for us. I know Kenny Pickett isn't really like that guy, but we're not expecting him to be that guy. As a backup, I'll take him any day over AOC. So I think it's been a busy offseason, especially this last day. And hopefully, I feel like the Raiders still have some moves to make for sure. But after today's cuts and all that, and after the moves that we made yesterday, I'm feeling really good right now. I'm feeling really good going into the season.
That's what we love to hear, man. And we got 425 people watching live between all platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So make sure you guys hit that follow button, subscribe over on YouTube at the AFC West Roundtable, and slam that thumbs up button. Really helps support us here. But all right, fellas, we got to get into these roster cut downs. And I know, look, some teams, they have their roster cut downs by 4 p.m. like they're supposed to. Some teams, it doesn't drop till like 8 or 9 p.m. So we're going to roll with the punches. We're going to roll with what we do know. But before we do that, I do want to kick it to the sponsor of the video over at RotoWire. Right now, you guys have a limited time opportunity at a perfect time because everybody is doing their fantasy leagues right now, right? And so right now, you guys get a 15% off bonus using promo code RTS. That is 15% off with promo code RTS. And what RotoWire is that it's a plugin for whatever you're using. So if you're using ESPN, Sleeper, whether using the NFL.com fantasy app, no matter what you're using, this can be plugged in to make sure that you dominate your fantasy league and guarantees that you are going to win. Now, look, I don't know about you guys, but I got a lot on the line. Okay, I play like 5 different fantasies a year. I play some with friends, some with family. I accidentally join like 3 trying to figure out what I'm doing. And with that being said, I got bragging rights on the line. I got money on the line. And I am more confident than ever, without a breeze, that I am going to win every single one because of RotoWire. Now, what this does is, it, like I said, it plugs into whatever source you're using and you walk it through to make sure it builds the perfect draft strategy for you. So for example, it'll ask you, what do you want to do when it comes to risks in your draft? In the early rounds, do you want to play it safe, have it balanced, or aim for upside? Early rounds, you need to hit on those guys. I like to play it safe. Mid rounds, I like to keep a good balance, but in those late rounds, I'm aiming for complete upside. Then, are you comfortable reaching for players that you really like? Because you can tell it. These are the players that I want you to draft, and these are the players that I want you to stay away from. Me personally, in the early rounds, I like to go and get my guys. In the middle rounds, I like it balanced. Late rounds, I like to stick to average draft projection. Then the really cool thing is that you can factor what matters most to you when you're drafting. Does the consistency of a player matter most to you? It definitely does for me. Does age matter? For me, not so much. Does injury risk matter? That is 100% a top 3 most important thing to me. Last year's performance also matters most to me. So these are just some of the things that you can do with RotoWire. Make sure that you dominate your fantasy league this year, again, with code RTS to get 15% off. But fellas, let's go ahead and let's get into these roster cutdowns. And Marcus, let's start with you. Break down everything that you know. What are guys that you know have been released so far that have maybe been surprising? And what are some guys that have made the roster so far that have been surprising to you? I know Tyquan Thornton is one of those guys that wasn't guaranteed to make it, had a pretty good offseason, was maybe on the bubble, as you could say, but based off reports from Jordan Schultz, he has officially made it. So go ahead and break that down for us.
Yeah, I would say over the last few weeks, I mean, you kind of saw writing on the wall that Tyquan Thornton was going to make the team, but it's just a good story, just because, you know, the way he kind of left New England, and a lot of people thought he was kind of a training camp superstar, and, you know, he came out and actually delivered during the preseason, and he looked good in training camp with the ones, too. So the Chiefs list is not out yet. It's still trickling in slowly, but I would say the biggest ones that the moves we've made, I would say Mike Edwards, a safety, veteran safety who played with us, won a Super Bowl with us, went to Tampa, or went to Buffalo, came back this past offseason. We thought we'd have a veteran presence in the room, Justin Reed leaving. He was cut, so that was interesting. A lot of people, that was kind of a surprise, I would say, for the most part. A veteran safety who's been in Spags' system, and now it's just kind of a bunch of young bucks back there. Jaden Hicks in his second year, Chamari Connor in his third year. So that was interesting. Is going to see how Spags does it with the DBs. Big one, I would say, again, the list is not out yet, but the one that a lot of Chief fans are very surprised about is Issa Apole, tackle from Washington State. Big thing with him is, I mean, every team has a guy that fans gravitate towards. He had 46 pass protection snaps during preseason, and he allowed 0 pressures. And that was a big thing that a lot of Chief fans loved, to have depth in the tackle room. You know, again, you got to be measured with this stuff. These guys are playing in the third and fourth quarter of games. You're going against guys who, a lot of those guys you're going against probably not going to make teams, probably going to be mostly practice squad guys. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. Great numbers, right? 46 pass protection snaps, but 0 pressures. So that was a big one that a lot of Chief fans were very kind of confused about. What I just heard, I just got a DM from a reliable source that Jake Brennan-Stool, Clemson rookie, UDFA, who's been pretty much out this entire preseason with the hamstring injury, he will be making the team. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I think that might be a move where they keep him on a team, they put him on IR, and then they allow him to bring somebody else in, just because that's a guy who a lot of people thought he was going to be a top 5 round pick from Clemson. He goes undrafted. The Chiefs claim him, give him a pretty big signing bonus when they sign him. So maybe that means that the Chiefs didn't think they were going to be able to keep him on the team if they were to waive him. So that was an interesting one that just happened that I was notified about from a reliable source. But right now, just waiting. I don't know why Veach is waiting so long, but this Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift news can only distract so much longer because everyone's waiting for that 53-man list. I'll be tracking it throughout the show.
And maybe it's fake too, right? Like maybe the proposal's fake, and Andy Reid was like, "Yo, Travis, like we're not ready to drop this thing yet. Like do something where we can keep the people occupied for a little bit." He's like, I think I got a ring in my back pocket. Let me just pop that out real quick. And it sounds like that's what happened.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. But yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of teams are waiting at the last hour to announce this. I read earlier that I don't think they don't have to make it public till 7:30 tonight. So we have about 30 minutes till that point, if that is the case. But yeah, not a lot of big names. I know some of these guys, like I know some Chief fans are eyeing Tony Jefferson. I know the Chargers just cut him. So yeah, I'd be curious. And I think we are going to look at a veteran safety. I don't know if that is bringing in Justin Simmons or going for a guy like Tony Jefferson. I don't know, but it remains to be seen what Brett Veach is cooking up with the Chiefs.
No way Justin goes to the Chiefs. No way.
Ryan awesome, can't handle that. He can't handle the drops already, let alone that betray.
No
I don't know.
There's no way.
Ryan, what would you do if he did go there?
Whoop his ass and just pound the ball against him.
You're going to go down to KG?
I just go JK and then RJ, JK and RJ, JK and RJ. Just keep smashing him in the mouth and then just lob one over his head
until JK gets hurt in the first half of the game, and then it's just RJ at that point.
That was on different teams.
Happen, right?
It was on different teams. We breathe different air in Denver.
Yes, that offensive line, man. It's gonna keep him healthy now. Shout out Mighty. Shout out Mighty, who comes in with a $2 donation. Said Chiefs can E-word my F word, D word, eat. Man, shout out Mighty, who comes back in again with another $2 donation. Says, live it up. I came to fight. I'm playing Mighty. That is what the AFC West Roundtable is here for. We love the heat. Make sure you keep bringing the heat in the chat, guys. We love to see. Now, Andrew, let's go on over to you. What are your thoughts so far on what you are hearing and seeing from the Chargers roster cutdowns? Anyone surprising that's made it so far, and anybody surprising that has been cut?
Yeah, let's talk about the cuts first, and then we'll talk about the people making the squad. And it's one of the biggest ones that was really hard for me to see was Tony Jefferson was cut. He, everyone calls him Unk on the squad. He's 33 years old, one of the oldest people on the team. Interesting story. He played for the Ravens and went into the back office. He was, working on scouting and decided, you know what, I still want to play some football when he was 30 years old. No joke. Came to the Chargers, tried to play, made the team last year on the practice squad, and actually came in and played really well, played amazing through the entire preseason. In fact, I think his PFF rating was a 33.9 grade, but he was cut. Most likely going to make the practice squad. He'll clear because let's just face it, nobody wants a 33-year-old safety. I mean, as good as he is, right, he's still 33 years old. So a few other cuts that I was a little surprised by. Well, I wouldn't say surprised, but Naheem Miller-Hines, we signed him. He played for the Colts and then also the Bills. So he was a good special teams player. Actually, interesting story with him. ACL injury about 2 years ago, hadn't played in the league, came to the Chargers, and actually looked really good running back. So he did not make the team. The one that I really wanted to see make the squad, most likely will go to the practice squad if he doesn't get scooped up, is Raheem Sanders. He played quite a bit. Undrafted free agent from South Carolina. Big dude. He's a Jim Harbaugh type of guy, 240 pounds and pretty damn fast. But it just goes to show you how many running backs we have, kind of going back to your running back question. If he didn't make the squad, I'm kind of surprised because he looked pretty good in preseason, so I was a little bit shocked on that. A few others that were a little bit fan favorites was Taquezi Bridges, cornerback from Florida. He was almost the what was the Tom Brady thing? The most unloved. What's that thing when you're like the final drafted player in the NFL draft?
Mr. Irrelevant.
There you go, Mr. Irrelevant. He was like one pick away from Mr. Irrelevant. So interesting. He was cut, most likely going to make the practice squad, but he's a rookie from Florida, kind of plays a lot of different roles, big nickel, safety, cornerback, listed as a cornerback, but I mean, he's a big dude. And a guy I really wanted to see make the squad, Steve-O Klotz, who's a tight end / fullback from Iowa State, did not make the squad. I was a little shocked. So hoping he gets on the practice squad. Another one was David Sharp, tackle. Not too interesting there. He was kind of a practice squad body. We had an injury, obviously. Rashawn Slater, they brought him in to, be able to be practiced. So he was released. Most likely, I don't think he'll go to the practice squad. And Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's kid, was released. And I'll say this, like Brendan Rice, man, he looked befuddled. I mean, I know it's a big word. Most of you guys probably don't know what that word means, but he just doesn't know what the hell he's doing out there. I mean, he looked confused the entire time. And I'm like, does this guy know how to run routes? He looked really bad this year. And we saw him at camp, did not look good, guys. And so we'll see what happens with him. I'm a little shocked that he was released. Actually, I'm not shocked he was released. I mean, I know he's a big name and all that, but so let me talk about the tackle we just signed, and then I'll talk about the good people that we do know or is confirmed are going to be on the team. So we did make a trade, and I think it's partially why the 53-man roster has not been released. I think we're probably still making some more trades. We signed Austin Deculus from the Texans for a 7th-round conditional pick. He's a big dude. He can play right tackle and left tackle, which is kind of what we need because injuries occur in the NFL. As we all know, we saw Rashawn Slater go down. Hasn't really played a whole lot in the NFL, but he's a big dude. He's 6'5", 330 pounds. I mean, damn, that is gigantic. Like that's like a mountain man, right? So anyways, pretty exciting to see him with the team. We'll see what happens in that scenario. But a couple people that I wanted to highlight that actually made the squad on the positive note, Chargers cornerback, undrafted free agent Nico Reed made the squad. Interesting story. He didn't even test at the combine, wasn't even invited. I mean, literally, like not a chance in hell he was going to make the squad. He's pretty undersized as a cornerback. He's about 5'9", maybe 180, soaking wet. But I'll tell you right now, he looked really good. He made the squad. And the other guy, linebacker Marlo Wax from Syracuse, another undrafted free agent. It looks like that's the rumor that he made the squad. So, look, I think both of those guys deserved a spot. They look great, but they made right now it looks like they're going to actually make the 53-man roster, which you love seeing an underdog make the squad. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I'm excited to see that. I mean, hopefully it releases at some point. Oh, and one other cut that I did not say, I apologize. DJ, I'm going to say his name wrong.
DJU.
Yeah, there you go. DJ,
got it.
Correct me if I'm saying it right. DJ Uiagalelei.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Hey.
Wow.
Let's go, Andrew.
Pretty closest.
That deserves a super chat, boys. So, the Chargers throw some money out there. It took me a while to even get that down, but he was released. I'm hoping he gets put on the practice squad, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he had a good practice, a good offseason, man, especially in preseason.
So Taylor Heineke is our third QB, and he did not look good. I felt like DJ looked way better, in my opinion. So I would rather him be the third guy, and then we keep, obviously, Trey Lance as our number 2, and then just work on DJ for an offseason, see if you can't get him looking better. At least that's what I kind of hope happens. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, man, Andrew, we appreciate that very in-depth breakdown, man. I feel like I learned everything I need to know about the Chargers now, man. I appreciate that. So before we move on, shout out to Mighty, who says, Patriots can get it too. All right. It's just sweet, Colby. You know what? I deserve it. Man. We're in the AFC too. Maybe you'd appreciate me if I was in the NFC, but I guess we're a rival too. I'll take it, especially from like Raiders fans. We play you week 1, so I'm probably like enemy 1 right now. So
yes.
Me and you, Simone, 1v1 apparently.
Yes, sir.
But Ryan, going down to you, man. Let me know everything that you've heard about the Broncos so far with roster cutdowns. Anybody that's been cut that surprises you? Anybody that's made the roster that's surprising to you?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest move was actually not even today or yesterday. It was actually last week, later in the week, when we traded Devon Vele to the Saints. So, I mean, as you know, like if you're going to cut a player, you might as well try to trade him first if you can get some value, if this guy may actually have a chance of getting claimed on waivers. Devon Vele was one of those guys. We absolutely fleeced the Saints, or really George Payton did. Devon Vele was a 7th-round pick. He's 27, about to be 28. Because I think he's Mormon or something. He did a mission trip before he went to college or something like that. So he was a good player, solid guy, very reliable. But obviously he's a little bit older, probably won't get that next contract. And we got some young bucks that are doing a great job, specifically Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant. So we traded him, got a 4th rounder and a 7th rounder, and these are the Saints. So that 4th rounder is definitely going to be a high day 2 pick. But so he was the biggest surprise out of in the entire fan base for Broncos country. I saw a post, I think DNVR posted, I don't know if you know of that outlet, that media account. They asked if what everyone would think about Vele being traded or being cut, because there's why would we carry 6 wide receivers? It's a lot. It's a lot of mouths to feed, including Evan Ingram. And everybody, they're like, no way he doesn't get cut. Well, he got traded, so good for him. He'll actually get some passes thrown to him now over there, get a lot of time on the field. Unfortunately, he's having some shit QBs throwing at him, so that's unfortunate. But so he was the biggest surprise. The next biggest surprise was definitely Audric Estime. While I did say that, we all knew that he was probably going to get cut, just considering the fact that he was a pick from last year and a relatively high pick. It's not like he was super far back in the draft. He was more of the middle rounds. I forgot specifically which round. But you would think you just want to give a running back a little bit more time to develop. But clearly, we have a good problem that we have a lot of running backs, a lot of mouths to feed there as well. So he got cut. He'll probably get picked up by another team before we can even try to claim him off waivers for the practice squad. What I will tell you, what I was glad about, was we cut Damari Mathis, and he had a solid rookie season, but holy shit, that dude, every time he got on the field, not as bad as I forgot the other guy from the Monday night game against the Browns, Barbecue Chicken, that was covering Jerry Jeudy, and was just letting every pass over his head. But Damari Mathis, he's been sliding down the ranks, especially last year and even the year before. So nothing surprising there, but I was just kind of glad he got cut, because he was sometimes in the game, sometimes not. But that was kind of the point of drafting Jahdae Barron, is now we can have some really solid corners there. And so when someone does go down, he can slide in and even get some starting reps. But overall, I mean, another surprising cut was Caleb Lohner. We just drafted him this year. He was a 7th round pick, tight end. Didn't have a lot of experience in college. I think they're going to try to put him on the practice squad and develop him. He didn't have too much playing time. I think he also went to Utah. He's a basketball player. So, Sean kind of likes those guys that also played basketball, Jimmy Graham as well. I mean, he didn't have Julius Thomas, but, there's some stuff, some history with tight ends that have played basketball, having that athleticism that helps them in the passing game. And, what Sean, I don't know if any of you guys saw what he said about what a joker is a tight end or running back with exceptional abilities to catch the ball. So it's kind of what he's envisioning in Caleb Lohner, but he's a little bit too raw right now to be on the active roster and needs some practice squad time. But overall, our roster shaped out really, really well, where a lot of these cuts aren't that painful because we just have a lot of good depth right now. So as it is unfortunate for some of these guys, because this is their career and everything, overall, I mean, hasn't been that bad of a day for Broncos country. But yeah, Devon Bailey, biggest one.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw the draft compensation that you guys got back in return, especially for wide receivers. Like, those guys don't go for a lot. I mean, even the number wide receiver ones, they don't even go for like 1st round picks anymore. So yeah, you got like a 4th for a former 7th round pick like that.
Yeah, we got a 4th and a 7th, and it's this year's 4th. And he didn't even have like 500 yards last year. so great. So I mean, obviously, like I think they probably would have wanted to keep him, and they weren't actively shopping him. But I mean, if you can bargain that value, I mean, you just got to do it. And I mean, guys, Saints, what are we doing here? Like, you're in rebuilding mode. Don't get rid of picks. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, don't give up a 4th and a 7th round pick for a guy that's gonna be like wide receiver 4.
He'll be the wide receiver 2, probably. He was.
Oh yeah, I forgot they got no wide receivers there.
Yeah, he was a solid guy. Great hands. And he fit in really quickly, which he needed to because of his age. But we just got guys with a wider skill set. I think the one thing, and I hate using the words ceiling and floor, but he did kind of seem like he probably was getting towards that ceiling already after year one. I mean, who am I to say that? Because obviously, who knows if he would have actually stepped up his skill this year. But just the type of player he was in college, I think Sean definitely saw more value in the other guys that we drafted.
Fair assessment. Now, Simone, before we get on over to you, we got a couple of super chats I want to get into. Tom Brady, the GOAT himself, comes in here and says, Patriots can claim beat Chiefs. We will blow out Las Vegas. Simone, you got something to say to that? You think the Patriots are going to blow you out week one?
Hey, we got the GOAT on our team now, so I think we got something up our
man.
sleeves for sure.
Hey, man, look.
I just got to wait until week one, man.
Simone. Come on, man. That was a deep shot right there. Man, shout out to Tom Brady. We got Mighty coming back in here with a $5 donation, man. Shout out to Mighty, who said, I heard what you said about Ryan Samoan. Marcus, what'd you say about Samoan? And Ryan, you lied about Marcus and you know it. Andrew, my dog. Mighty's bringing the heat in the chat today, man. That's what I like to see. Now, Samoan, I want you to break this down I want you to break down every last detail, okay? Especially for me, because I need to know for week one. Any surprise cuts that you're hearing coming out of Vegas, any surprise guys that are making the roster, and anybody that we should be looking for that is maybe under the radar for Vegas heading into 2025?
Well, unlike everybody else on their team, man, we actually dropped our roster cuts and got the final 53. So, I think for the most part, a lot of players are not really that surprising. There are a couple of players, I guess, for us Raider fans that we kept a close eye on. That was surprising. Of course, Laki Tassi, who we got over from Australia, Big Goose. The fact that we cut like 3 Samoans already, I'm like, damn, man. I always want to keep Polly's on the team. So cutting Laki Tassi, who I believe will make his rounds and come back and at least make the practice squad. Trevor Ma'ai, Antonio Mafi. Those are 3 Usos that got cut. But outside of that, Greedy Vance was another guy that was surprising cut today because he had such a good training camp and a good offseason so far. I expect him to come back as well. And then you got Terrell Edmonds, who we recently signed, I think not too long ago. So having him be cut, it's surprising as well because I feel like we still need some depth over there at the safety position, especially in the secondary. But I guess they got a lot more confidence in the players that we have right now. Of course, other guys, Sincere McCormick is a guy that I'm really cool with, and I thought he could have made the roster, but he got cut as well. And Andre Carter II, who had a good preseason as well, got cut from the team. And most of the players that I'm bringing up most likely will make the practice squad if they don't get claimed by any other teams out there. But with the players that actually did make the team, Charles Snowden, he's a guy that's balled out so far in the offseason and in preseason. And he's a guy that if he could get his head on right and, doesn't cause anything off the field to affect him in his game, he looked better to me than Malcolm Kuntz did in preseason. Then again, it's just preseason, and I know that they're not playing for reals, I guess, to a certain extent. But we got to see one Poly kind of sneak into the final 53, Lecky Fotu, who looked pretty solid in that last game. So him, Raheem Mostert is a guy that I thought was going to get cut because a lot of people were talking about him getting cut, but he makes the roster. And then Dylan Laube, a guy that is a running back, but I think he plays so much more in the special teams game. That's why I feel like they kept him on. And a big shout out though to Jamal Adams, because I know Jamal Adams is a guy that we just brought in, and honestly I didn't really have any high expectations for Jamal Adams when he signed with the team right before training camp started and everything. But seeing what he's been able to do from day one to now, this dude is look electric. I mean, moving him to linebacker I think was the perfect move for the Raiders and for Pete Carroll, and he just seems more he's going into the season feeling a lot more of himself than he's ever been. So he's a guy that definitely stands out to me, and a guy that I'm really going to look forward to watching in that first game against the Patriots, because I know I think he's going to be a rotational piece and somebody that could make plays, and that's all we can ask out of Jamal Adams. Now, another surprising cut, like I mentioned earlier, was Cam Miller. I know that AOC and Cam Miller were fighting for that QB2 spot. It's kind of funny that, everything can change so quickly now that we got Kenny Pickett here. The Raiders cut Cam Miller. Of course, I think that he's probably going to come back and join the practice squad as well. But overall, not really that many surprises. There just are some players that we highlight, and so far. I'm just happy with the roster that they have right now. I just hope that they bring the Us Lakitasi back. That's the only person that I honestly care that the only person that I care about that got cut today or waived from the team.
Now,
So
Simone,
far.
just out of curiosity, I don't know if you remember this guy, but were you a Danny Shelton fan back in the day?
Yeah, from UW. Yes, sir. Trust me, I've been looking out for all the polys,
man.
whether they sign with us or anybody else. That's why, DJU, maybe he come over here to Las Vegas, just be a QB3 for us. I wouldn't mind that. Any Uso,
Yeah, man, you could just give him his salary, right? The Raiders don't even have to. You just, you sign his paychecks. But I was hearing you talk about those guys, and I was like, oh, he's got to be a Danny Shelton fan then.
Oh yeah, that's the Us right there. Danny Shelton. Yeah, he got a couple rings though. Oh yeah, he got like 2 rings.
Man, he was a big dog.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. Back in the day. Shout out Danny Shelton. But
yeah.
All right, guys, I think now is a good time to transition to the final segment of today's episode. And boy, this is going to be where it gets a little bit heated in the chat, a little bit heated with the panel, because these guys are going to rank their divisional standings heading into the 2025 NFL season. Who do they have first? Who do they have finishing the last? Let's break it down. Marcus, I want to start with you. I feel like I know who you're going to put at number 1. But let's see where the rest ends up.
Yeah, so number 1, I'll say, again, our guys, Kansas City is going to continue to own the West. I think a lot of people are taking a lot of stock in the way the Chiefs looked at the end of last year, Super Bowl game. And I see a lot of media talking heads talk about the last time we saw the Chiefs, they looked like a team that was like, a team that's crumbling, right? But I would say our team's improved. Our offensive line's improved a lot, and that was one of our biggest weaknesses last year, all throughout the season. And even with that weakness, and let's talk about the skill players who got hurt all throughout the season. We have a better skill group now as far as receivers, and our offensive line has improved immensely, especially specifically on that left side. So I'll say the Chiefs win the division. I don't think we'll be 15-2 again this year. I think I have us at 14-3 is my prediction. Number 2, this is an interesting one. See, here's the thing. I know what we all, some of you guys say in the chat that we're all too nice to each other, but honestly, there's respect all through all 4 teams. And I got to say that this division, it's going to be tough, man. Like, really, it's going to be a grinder. And even if I say that, I think I'm leading the Raiders as the last spot.
Oh.
But I'll say this.
Shock. Oh, shock.
No, I don't think it's going to be like a one of the usual the North Turner days of going 4-12.
Yeah.
Not like that. I think 7-10, 8-9 kind of season for you guys. So yeah, I'll have Denver at number 2. I think the defense you guys have take us to the verge. I mean, all you guys took us to the verge last year, but. I think Bo Nix, although I've mentioned possible sophomore slump, I do think Sean Payton, is a great coach to try to make sure that doesn't happen with Bo Nix. I know you're not a big Cortland Sutton fan. I'm a fan.
I'm a fan too.
And when he plays you guys, he looks different when he plays you guys. He makes Trent McDuffie look like barbecue chicken. So.
Okay,
I'm only a fan of Cortland when he plays you guys. When I saw him, I don't know if you remember that play in Kansas City last year, or him and McDuffie were 1-on-1, and he had like 3 yards of separation, looking like 2019 Court. And I was like, where did this come from?
Well, and maybe that plays a part as to why I'm a big Sutton fan, because he makes Trent McDuffie an all-pro cornerback, like barbecue chicken, like you said, I guess when we play you guys. But no, I think as far as your defense-wise, I feel like your offensive skills this year, RJ Harvey actually gives you someone in the backfield. I know you guys had that wild committee last year with Jaleel McLaughlin getting a lot of totes. Estime get in there, Javonte Williams. I mean, I think now you actually have a stable guy in the backfield that kind of opens up your offense a little bit. So I do like Denver at the number 2 spot. Number 3, Chargers. Again, I'm a big – like I said, I had Herbert as my number 2 quarterback. I love what you guys have going over there. I love what Harbaugh brings. With Harbaugh, I mean, your floor is never going to be – you're never going to be a bottom-tier team. So I think that's what he gives you. But yeah, I know I've seen some Chief fans say, "Oh, Joey Bosa's gone." I mean, come on, Joey Bosa, the guy was playing like 2 games a year. So it's really it's a addition by subtraction with as far as your edge rush there with Bosa. But yeah, collectively, I think we're gonna have 3 teams in the playoffs again. So yeah, I'll have Chargers 3 and Raiders 4. And like I said last week, I do think I do think this team is changing directions here. Like I said, you guys are, the Chiefs of 2013, right? When we had Andy Reid come in, we had Alex Smith come in. Geno Smith and Pete Carroll are your Alex Smith and Andy Reid-ish. And I think that's going to be a big turnaround for you guys. But God forbid Geno Smith gets hurt, because if Kenny Pickett has to be your quarterback for any periods of time this year, holy crap. But yeah, no, I do think that 7-10 for you guys. So as you guys being the last team in the division, it's not like bottom feeder-ish. You're not 4-12. The North Turner days are over. The Dennis Allen days are over. Pete Carroll's gonna, whip you guys into shape. So that's my 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, Andrew, let's go on over to you, okay? I mean, a lot of hype around your Chargers. The Chiefs are obviously the Chiefs, but definitely some reasonable concerns about their depth. Same issue that maybe they had last year, presented themselves in the Super Bowl. Do you feel the same way about your rankings, the way that Marcus does? Or do you think that there's a chance the Chargers finish out on top?
Yeah, but first of all, Simone Raider, who's AOC? Is that crazy lady from New York City in the House of Representatives? Is that who that is? I was like, you said
Aiden
AOC.
O'Connell.
Like, what the hell?
Aiden O'Connell.
Oh, shit. You know what's funny? I didn't even know about her till like people were saying, do you know the girl that's named? I was like, I don't even know.
Dude, I was dying. I was going to cut you off a few times. I'm like, man, that chick is crazy. Okay, so I didn't know when the Raiders signed him. Look, so I'll say this: Chargers are going to win the Super. They're going to win the division. They're going to win the division for sure. Now, let me tell you why.
All right, let's go.
We have the number one defense in the NFL. The Broncos. We were barely above the. I think we allowed 17.5 points. The Broncos were like 18 last year, so we were neck and neck. Offensively, we have improved in every facet of the game, right? You look at the playoff game that we lost rather in horrible fashion. Our offensive line did not play well, and arguably, I know Rashawn Slater is out now, but we do have a better offensive line moving forward. Wide receivers got better, running backs got better, tight ends got better, and we are way deep in wide receivers, right? I already said that, didn't I? So I'm just saying offensively, we are a better team, and we were able to hold people down on points. So I do think the Chargers have an opportunity to do it, but I've said this time and time again, we are a play action team. If we cannot run the ball, if the Broncos, the Raiders, or even the Chiefs stop our run, we're not going to be as effective, right? So that's the way that teams would want to attack us defensively moving forward. So, I think the Chargers have every expectation to win the division. I actually really do think we can. Now, I think it's a 3-horse race. I think all three of the teams, just like last year, are going to make the playoffs. The Broncos make it, the Chiefs make it, and the Chargers make it. Now, how it lines up, it's going to be interesting. I would say this though. I think Chiefs are number 2 because they're just the Chiefs, and I think it's going to be tight. Like it's going to come down to one game. I'm still a little salty that the Chargers-Chiefs game is the home game week 1. That kind of pisses me off because how is that our home game versus the Chiefs? That's definitely a benefit for the Chiefs Nation there. But
do you guys have home games though?
Yes, we do. Actually, the fans are showing up.
I was going to ask that as well. I didn't hear you. I was going to ask the same thing.
Yeah. Actually, the fans are showing up. It's pretty good. It's getting better for sure right now that we're winning. No, I agree. I appreciate you on that. But
I believe that's the second time for you guys in the last few years. Because I remember we played in Mexico. I believe that was your home game as well.
Yes, it's freaking aggravating. It's really annoying to me. And NFL just likes to screw us. No big deal, right? So
Chargers have outsourced fans, man. I've never seen
that. So I would say this though: the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I think they're great. The Broncos are the Broncos. They are way improved, and look, you guys are a good team across the board. I will say this about Raider fans. It makes me sick to my stomach that you guys are not as bad as I want you to be, right? So you guys finally have adults in the room, right?
I agree with you on that.
The clowns you had running your organization. Like, I know you had Tom Telesco. Like that guy should be put in a mental institution.
He drafted good. I'll give him that though. He drafted good.
Yeah, not for the Chargers, but I think you guys look. Pete Carroll is going to turn that team around, so you got nothing to be sad about. But you will be 4th in the division for sure.
I'll take it.
I like it, Andrew. You came in with the absolute heat, but it wasn't biased, right? You came in and you backed up what you were saying, so you can't be mad, man. You can't be mad. I loved it.
Can I hold up? Can I ask something? Because I know Chargers fans, you guys love hypotheticals. So, like, what if you guys miss out on the playoffs? Like, what are you going to say about Justin Herbert? Like, let's say the Bengals or, one of those AFC, because AFC North, man, like, same thing there as well. Probably even stronger division, I would say, actually, just based on their history. What if they end up taking some spots and then the Chargers miss out?
I mean, we could talk what ifs all day, Ryan. But at the
I know you guys can. I know you guys can.
Well, you can too. But I mean, bottom line, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, of course you can. I mean, I think the last podcast you were saying Bo Nix is a better quarterback than Justin Herbert. He's had 1 year in the NFL. Justin Herbert, by the way, just so you guys know, in the first 5 years, is the -- prolific passer in the NFL in NFL history, over Peyton Manning, anybody else. Now,
Super Bowls,
he has to
Dan Marino.
He has to do it in the playoffs. So, he beat Dan Marino as well too. So, but here's the point: he hasn't had a team around him. I've said this over and over again. I mean, look at the Eagles. Great example. Jalen Hurts is not a great quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback, but he works well in that system. He always has a team around him that makes him successful in that system. So, again, but I also would say this: I'll give you your flowers. Bo Nix works well in your system. Let's see what Justin Herbert can do in this system this year. I think year 2 under Jim Harbaugh, he's going to look a lot better. And by the way, he was the most efficient quarterback he's ever been last year. I know a lot of people don't think that, but he was extremely efficient. So
my fantasy points didn't show for that though, but it's all good.
You didn't have to do as much. I mean, respectfully, but like
that's true.
That's not against him, because you do want that complementary football with the run game, which is something actually we needed from Bo. Bo's stats last year may have not, because he had 29 touchdowns, which was like it was top 10 in the league, maybe top 5. Is more than Mahomes. I know. I'm not trying to throw a shot at Mahomes, because I mean, they still went through the playoffs. But part of that is because he did have to carry a lot more since we had no run game whatsoever. I mean, shit, Bo caught a touchdown pass.
Well, so I'll give you my final thoughts. So just really quickly, and it goes towards the Raiders as well too. The reason why I picked the Raiders at 4th, it takes a long time to get a team to be successful, right? Yeah, you could say all day you have a good quarterback, which the Chargers have had. Arguably his best year, Justin Herbert's year, was his rookie year. Horrible offensive line, but he had a lot of wide receiver weapons. The Raiders still don't have all the tools and players to be that successful, right? But they're making the right moves. And so you have to be happy about that if you're a Raider fan and moving forward, right? So again, look at the Eagles. It took them 3-4 years to really be successful. So, look, it takes an entire team, all 3 phases of the game.
Agreed. Now, Ryan, let's go down to you. All right, what are your predictions here for the AFC West? And more specifically, where do you have your Broncos finishing? Do you think that there is any chance? Do you have any hope, like Andrew does, that your squad can finish at number 1?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be realistic. So I think there is the possibility. There is like a good chance. Maybe it's gonna be 50-50, maybe come down to the wire against the Chiefs. At the same time, I'm very superstitious. I absolutely hate how everybody in the media is predicting that we will win the AFC West. I hate it. I love it when my teams are under the radar.
I'm
when
the
there's a chip
same
on their
way.
shoulder and everyone's
I'm
just
the
talking
same
shit.
way.
Okay, but the difference is you guys don't actually win, though.
But we do when nobody.
We have one. The difference is no one believes in you guys.
We don't keep that
still
same
don't
energy,
win.
though.
But like last year, that's how I enjoyed, because they're saying 5.5, over under. I'm like, that was stupid. Like I can't believe I didn't put money on that. Because then when I went back to look at the bet, it was gone. I would have put probably $1,000 on that shit, because I was like, whoever put that bet in Vegas needs to get fired, shot into the sun for being an idiot, because they lost them a bunch of money. But so out of respect, because we lost to the Chiefs so many times, these are different teams now. The Broncos are a different team. But at the end of the day, it's not just when we play the Chiefs, it's when other teams play the Chiefs and what the Chiefs record is. So I think they probably will win the division, but I think we definitely have the chance, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do. I'd be really happy if we did, but I wouldn't be as surprised. The Chargers, listen, they have added to their roster, but something with them that's just, I always feel like they're just missing something. And while your defense was great last year, I mean, here's the thing that I've noticed with Herbert is that when it comes to, whether it's playoffs or something, if it's not going well, it's going really, really bad. It's going really, really bad. So when it comes to those games, I mean, like, how much can you trust Herbert, let's say, like, in the playoffs? I mean, I know we're talking about the standings, but if it's going bad, like, what can you guys do? Like, what are you guys gonna be able to do? The thing is, Harbaugh knows how to kind of protect him in terms of not putting the entire game plan on him. So I just think that you guys kind of like randomly lose to some bad teams here and there. And I just believe in the Broncos that much more. In Sean Payton's coaching that much more. And there's the old saying, Charger's gonna Charger.
Charger.
So I think the Chargers are more of like, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm the same way with the Broncos. I'll believe it when I see it. But in terms of what we added in this offseason, if we didn't like fix our linebacker issue, and who knows if we really fix that, because these guys have to stay healthy, and we didn't get like Hufanga as well, and we didn't get some more receivers as well, and Troy Franklin wasn't looking as sharp, then I probably wouldn't have as much confidence. I would say we're probably gonna have to sneak into that final spot again this year. But we have added to the running back room. We have added to all those areas that we needed people. So that's just kind of what gives me that extra boost of confidence. And I'm also not that much of a fan of Najee Harris as well. I watched quite a few Steelers games. I don't know why. And I just never liked the way he ran. It's probably because I just had Sunday tickets. So I was just watching these games randomly. And I think I had him in fantasy, actually. Unfortunately, but I just never really liked the way he ran. He never really hitting the hole hard. He did have good patience. We'll see how it is in Harbaugh's system, because it is built for running backs, completely different O-line. And then of course, so I put the Chargers at 3, and then of course I'm going to put the Raiders at 4. I mean, guys, Pete Carroll did it once. Can he do it again? I mean, he had some pretty mediocre years at the end in Seattle. He wants to go with Geno Smith again, and obviously you guys are just still growing, but even just in terms of like the future, maybe he can get you to a stable base. But I think he is raising you guys from the level of shit to mediocre is what I think Pete Carroll is going to do, and then you're going to have to get someone else, because I mean his Super Bowl team, he had one of the most elite defenses of all time, and then they had some weapons on the offense. I don't know if Genty can be like Marshawn Lynch. I don't know if you guys have all the receiving core, especially with your wide receiver right now asking for a trade. Obviously, it's not going to happen. He's under contract. What people say, nothing ever happens sometimes in the NFL, all this talk. But ultimately, I think you're going to have a more enjoyable season as a fan, as a Raiders fan. But in terms of the division, you guys are going to be at the bottom. Hey, if you surprise us, you're at 2, and then us and the Chargers end up missing out, man. I'll send you $1,000.
That's why I like being underdogs going, because at least I feel like I'm not gonna get too disappointed if we don't do good. But
man, that's some Spider-Man quote right there. Expect disappointment, you can't be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? If anyone's watched Spider-Man, you know what I'm saying? You know what that's from. You know what that's from. But
after 2018, that's how I was as a fan. I just didn't expect anything, and everything else was gravy.
But you know what? I hear a lot of people say that. It's not just you're on the AFC West. It's the NFC South Roundtable. It's the AFC East Roundtable. Every fan of their respective teams always say the same things. It's, I want people to count us out. I don't want people to tell me that we're going to be good. And even me, for right now with my team, I'm like, I'm a mixed bag. I don't know if I like the praise. I don't know if I hate the praise, but I feel like every fan is like, no. Count us out. That's what we want. But Samoan, let's go over to you. Wrap us up here. What are your thoughts and your rankings for the AFC West heading into 2025? All of these guys have you finishing 4th. No debate, no question about it. Yeah. All simultaneously come together saying, yeah, you're at the bottom. See you later. Have fun down there, locking the door on you. Do you think there's any world in which you finish better than 4th?
Oh, definitely. But I expect nothing less from the rest of the AFC West, because, of course, we haven't shown anything, like the last couple of years. And to Andrew's point, we the front office hasn't really been there, even with the hope that I've been having like the past couple of years. But ever since Gruden, it's been like a whole mixed bag with different people, different regimes. It's the 3rd regime that we had in the last 3 years. So I could totally understand that. But I feel a little bit more optimistic this year with this team, of course, with Pete Carroll, with all the weapons that we have over here. And Pete Carroll has even said that he hasn't finished a season less than 10 wins. Now, I'm not saying that we could win 10 wins. I mean, will win 10 games, but there's definitely a possibility there. And after what I've seen in the preseason, as long as the Raiders is healthy, which, that's a big thing for a lot of teams, I feel like our offense and our defense will definitely be one of the best in the NFL. Well, we'll see how it goes. But as far as the rankings, I can't really put us at number one, just being realistic. But I, of course, have the Chiefs going number one. Until they fall off, then that's when we could – because I feel like every year I've been thinking, like, oh, they're going to fall off, but they don't. So definitely got the Chiefs at number one. And then I have the Raiders going number two. I know that not a lot of people see, but hey, I'm saying this.
They're going to be fourth in the division.
And just like Ryan's point, not a lot of people are expecting much out of us, and I think that's where we actually do something. And we got somebody that can actually run the team. We actually got a quarterback now, and I don't think that the Raiders can get any worse than last year. That was the worst season in Vegas since they moved here. So I feel like with the weapons that we do have, if we keep Jacoby Myers over here, the defense, like from what I've seen from the ones, I think that they can amount to anybody and they could compete with any team in the NFL. And it could still be a same year where, the Raiders beat the teams we're not supposed to be and we lose to the teams that a lot of people expect us to be. But I think we're going to put together a couple more wins this year than the last couple of years for sure. Now, the last two teams, I guess it was kind of – I think the whole AFC West, everybody's not going to lose or win less than 6-7 games because I think we do have a competitive division. But I just couldn't really count the Chargers out, so I have the Chargers going number 3, only for the mere fact if Justin Herbert doesn't get it done. One thing that Jim Harbaugh does well is always having the right quarterback to come in and do their job. We've seen him with Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith, and I really am high on Trey Lance because I feel like Trey Lance, if he does come in, he could probably win them a couple of games, whether it's on him or just the team in general, just to help him out. So I guess just that, Jim Harbaugh being Jim Harbaugh, I see him winning a couple of games as well. So I have them going number 3, and then the Broncos. I think they're not a bad team. I just feel like with all the hype that they're getting, that's where it could kind of kill it. And plus, they went undefeated in the preseason, so that's just another thing as well. So that, and then before last year, they didn't beat us for like six games in a row or something like that. So I think that's where it's going to go back to, where the Raiders start winning those games. So that's how I have it matched up. So and the funny thing is when you actually DM'd us about this, when we were going to talk about this is the first post that I seen pop up on my feed. With I don't know if you can see it. Oh shit, that shit bright.
Oh, I think I see it.
Oh, there you go. Nick Wright is always right? He's always right about something.
Who the hell
so
is it?
I was like,
Bo Nix was going to be dog shit last year. He said we weren't even going to miss the playoffs.
You like Bo Nix? Nick. Yeah, he'd be crazy sometimes, but I agree with this one. Though.
Not this time.
So that's how I'm gonna go. That's how I'm gonna go with like I said. I think the Broncos ain't gonna be too bad, but I just don't see them. I think there are gonna be 3 teams that make the playoffs, and we're gonna be one of them. That's all I gotta say.
I was so glad that you guys got Pete Carroll and Geno Smith because we lost to them the past 2 years. So I wanted to whoop that ass twice a year. Now after even you saying that, oh my god!
Come on, man.
Oh,
that's what I said. Hey,
oh my gosh!
We can only speak on hypotheticals right now.
I'm gonna get Kareem Jackson back here so he can just spearhead one of you.
Hey, as a punter or as a running back? What
Kareem Jackson, he was a safety who didn't give a shit, and he would just spear
guys. I thought you said Kareem Hunt. I'm sorry.
No, Kareem Jackson. He just spear guys and get kicked out of games.
Shit. I do like Hufanga though, so
that.
I'll give you guys that though. But I think it's gonna be competitive. But I ain't gonna put us at last. Everybody else is doing this, so I got us at number 2.
Confidence to say you have faith in Trey Lance. Like what the
bro? It's not even just I have faith in Trey Lance before, but then you put him together with Jim Harbaugh. Whatever quarterback you put with him, he seems to. And I don't know. I like Bo Nix too. I actually liked him in the draft.
So what do you think? Kenny Pickett would be good with Harbaugh?
Shit, you never know.
I'll give you my take on the whole.
Yeah, I mean, DJ, you look good in preseason. So
I'll give you my real quick take. Trey Lance looked horrible at camp. I mean, he was sailing balls like crazy, and I'm like, man, that guy ain't gonna make the squad. Week 1 came around, he looked like a completely different person. And so you make the argument, well, he's a gamer, whatever. But Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman like running quarterbacks. I personally don't like running quarterbacks at all because they get hurt all the time. But he likes someone like a Colin Kaepernick. He made him look good. So I really think he's kind of that guy that they like. And they could put a game plan around a guy like that, right? So Trey Lance doesn't have to do everything, but he could use his legs. And so, look.
And that's, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think that, I mean, he's going to carry the whole team on his back, but I feel like if something happened to Justin Herbert, and they need somebody to run the offense and at least get win games, I think that he'd be good enough to.
How many games do you think you could leave him in for?
I think 4 games probably.
I'll
say this. I'll say this.
I wouldn't even give him a half.
I thought he wasn't even going to make the squad. I was like, oh, we're going to cut him. He's trade bait, all the above. Who knows? Maybe they're trying to work a trade right now. But he showed, hey, I eat crow on that one, man. I mean, I did not think he was going to be anything, and he's looked really good. Or he's looked better than I expected. We'll leave it at that. So he definitely won the QB2 spot. So,
hey, man. Well, there you
just
go.
my 2 seconds.
There we go, man. You guys absolutely killed it today. All right. I thought that we had great breakdowns from the limited information that we were given. Obviously, I think Samoan, you were the only team that actually dropped their official 53-man roster throughout today's video. So
we ahead of the schedule. That's why.
Made it a little bit difficult on some of these creators, but I thought that you guys did great with the projections and what you do know. That's why these guys are the best in the business for their respective teams. So make sure you subscribe to each of these guys' individual channels linked in the description box below. We got 827 people watching live right now throughout Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So make sure you guys follow us over on YouTube at the AFC West Roundtable. Leave a big like on the video. Make sure you guys follow our other social medias, also linked in the description box below. Make sure you guys also consider becoming a Patreon member. Links to that in the description box below if you guys want to call in live to this show or any other Roundtable sports show throughout the entire network. But until next time, my name is Colby Cochran, host here of the AFC West Roundtable for Roundtable Sports. Stay safe.